are not just numbers, there is more to it. It can reveal more about you than you may think. So tonight on Geek Squad, together with my guest, we will be decoding the number behind your digital identity in plain and simple language. Before I introduce my guest, we will be listening to the emerging tech trends, and then when we are back, we'll get into our conversation for tonight.
Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of Emerging Tech Trends on Joy Geek Squad. My name is Denisia Pomaiji. In our headlines, Microsoft launches Vibe working in Excel and Word. Also, EA to go private in a $55 billion payout. YouTube music test, AI radio host, and finally, Gemini now explains why your Sheets formula failed. Let's settle for the details now. Microsoft is introducing agent mode in Excel and Word, letting users generate complex spreadsheets and documents with a single prompt alongside a new Office agent in Copilot chart powered by Anthropic models to create Word documents and PowerPoint presentations. Electronic Arts is being acquired in a $55 billion deal by Silver Lake, Saudi Arabia's public investment fund, and Affinity Partners led by Jared Kushner. The buyout, expected to close in Q1 FY27 pending approvals, will take EA private with $36 billion in equity and $20 billion in debt financing backed by JP Morgan. YouTube is testing AI hosts in radio and mixes through its new YouTube Labs program designed to add stories, trivia, and commentary to music. The feature is limited to select US-based participants as Google expands AI experiments similar to those in Notebook LM. And finally, Gemini in Google Sheets can now generate and explain formulas, offering step-by-step instructions, error fixes, and alternative options. The AI appears as a chatbot sidebar, guiding users through data tasks more clearly than before. And that's it on this week's episode of Emerging Tech Trends on Joy Geek Squad. My name is Denisia Pomaiji. I will catch you same time next week.
Welcome back. This is Geek Squad with your girl Adobea Biritwum. Geek Squad is brought to you by MTN everywhere you go. A very big thank you to Kenneth Awachindako for sitting in for me last week. A few weeks ago, we had our president admonish us to be careful about the information we put online, reason being that it can be traced. And this brought about a lot of conversations online. And there was some kind of misinformation too. So for our show tonight, we are going to be talking about IP addresses, what they are, and what they really mean for you. I have with me an expert in IP networks. He is in the person of Isaac Sakyi. He is an engineer. Isaac, you're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Good to have you here.
Yeah.
Based on the conversations online, we want to really delve deep into this subject of IP addresses. And for you listening in, we are live on YouTube, on Facebook, and on X. You can just check us out if you would like to see what's happening in the studio. Also, you can join the conversation by sending a message to the WhatsApp number 055 1111 997. 055 1111 997. So coming back to you, Isaac, can we start with the basics?
Sure.
What exactly is an IP address and why does it even matter?
Thank you very much. So IP addresses are numbers that we use to identify resources on a computer network. So basically, they are numbers that we use to identify resources. And when you take an IP address, it could be public or it could be private as well. So we have a range that is reserved for private use. So in an organization, if it is not going to be routed over the internet, you could use a range of private IP addresses. But if you need to go over the internet, then you would need public IP addresses.
Okay. Why does it even matter in the first place, what you're talking about right now?
Okay, so there is an international organization that oversees the use of IP addresses. They've come up with IP blocks that can be used only on the internet.
Okay.
And there are some that can be only used within an organization's private network. So that is how it's been structured. You cannot use a private IP on a public network. It doesn't work.
Got it. So for the organizations, you've spoken about the fact that some can have private IP addresses. Can we talk about the different types of IP addresses?
Yes, so generally we have the private and then we have the public. Depending on the size of the infrastructure you have within your private organization, there are ranges in different classes. We have class A, B, C. The D and the E are usually reserved. So an organization would first assess its own need requirements.
Okay.
Then based on that, they would choose an IP block to use. Now, the resources within this private IP block are not intended for the public. So, for instance, in Joy FM, you may have a printer somewhere.
Yeah.
You would want to connect to that printer. That printer doesn't need to be accessed from outside of Joy. So that printer can have a private IP.
Okay.
But if you want to access, let's say, you are hosting a web service here and you want it to be accessed from the internet, then you need a public IP for that particular resource.
Okay. So it's talking about the public and then the private. Can we also talk a bit about the static and then dynamic as well?
Okay, so it depends on what you actually want to do. If I have servers that I need the IPs to be the same every time, I would assign static IPs to them. But if I don't really need to know who is behind the IP, I could generally let a system assign that IP dynamically. So you may have people coming in here and you'd want to offer them guest Wi-Fi, for instance. Those users, you don't really need anything much from them, apart from you want them to connect to a network and then access a particular resource. After that, that is it. So those ones can change.
Okay.
I come here today, tomorrow I'm not here, so I can get a private IP tomorrow. It's something else, and that is fine. So in that case, I can use dynamic IPs. But if the resource there doesn't need to change, then I need a static IP.
So for someone listening to us and probably wondering, we are talking about IP addresses, where can they find their IP address? Can we just take them through that?
Well, every device that connects to a network generally has the IP information somewhere in the network settings. So if you are on a local area network, like in an office setting, then you can go to your network settings on your PC and then you can check your IP. Otherwise, if you are on the public internet, you can just Google what's my IP and it will pop up and show you what IP you have.
Okay. So by talking about network, do you mean internet too, or because of the explanation you gave earlier, it could just be...
So internet is just a bigger network.
Yeah.
Network is a connection of more than one device. So we could have a local area network here. But if we go to the internet, we are looking at accessing resources that are external to your organization or within your locality. So then you need to go over the, do we say, international highway, and that becomes the internet. You need to get public IPs to access those resources.
Okay, okay. Someone using a phone, using a tablet, using any device at all. The question maybe they will want to find out is, so far as they have access to a network, like you're saying, doesn't mean they have IP addresses. Any device that has access to network, would they have IP addresses?
Yeah.
Okay.
If you connect to a network, you get an IP address.
Okay.
Sometimes you don't know, but you have an IP address.
Okay. I like that. You may not know. I think that's why we are even having this conversation in the first place. Because
A lot of people don't usually care so much about the IPs behind the device. I mean, what they are interested in is, will I be able to access this particular resource? If that is it, fine. It doesn't care whether I have a class A IP address, a class B. No, those things don't matter to end users.
should we care or we shouldn't care if we are end users?
Well, it depends on you. Yes.
How?
I can't say don't care, because once you join a network, be it private or public, it means that certain things about you would become available to the next party, also on the network. So even within your normal organization like this area, if I join your Wi-Fi network here or your LAN here, I'll be able to see things that are hosted or devices that are connected. I can have a fair idea of what is connected to the network that I'm joined on. So of course, yes, if I'm hosting something which is important to me, I should know that people can see and then take the necessary precautions to protect myself.
You're talking as an expert here.
Yes.
So for an end user, like you said earlier, someone who may not really have that kind of knowledge, what would they have to do in, like you said, taking precautions? If there are key things that you don't want to be out there, what can such a person do?
Okay, so we need to look at the end user in the context of whether they are in a local area network or on the public internet.
Okay.
Now, one thing you need to understand too is the internet details. I mean, the IP addresses that we have on the internet are all known. Are all known.
We'll be talking about that soon.
There is a body, like I mentioned earlier, that has divided the IP addresses based on use or need base. So we have, for Africa, we go to a particular organization, the Afrinic, that will allocate us IP addresses if you want to go to the internet. So once you get a public IP, it is already known. And these things are already being scanned actively. There are people there who are just interested in anything, so they are just scanning the space. If anything comes online right now and it is not protected, they'll jump at it. They'll want to exploit the vulnerabilities. So you must know as an end user where you are heading to or what device you are holding. If you host critical services or critical information, you should be very careful how you expose your server or whatever is hosting that facility online. So if you are running a web service and not a mail service, just make sure that you have your web service running, not mail service. Don't leave room for others to be able to exploit vulnerabilities in applications that you are not using, but you've got them opened on your server.
I'm going to be coming directly to us, our phones, our tablets. So for such an instance, how do we handle that then? Because you spoke about servers, that one fine, I'm looking at businesses, but now for the individual. Because we have important information on our gadgets.
Yeah.
And we are connecting to internet and all that.
Yeah.
So
you as a phone user, you are actually buying service from somebody.
Yeah.
You are a subscriber to any of the telecom companies or any of the ISPs. So the facility you are using is more like they are leasing it out to you. You are not the owner of the IP.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if it is an MTN IP that you are connected to, you are using MTN, let's say MTN data. MTN will assign you an IP. But here is the thing. I mean, the number of public IPs is a finite resource. So if you look at the numbers that we have, it is usually not economical to do a one-to-one mapping. So this is what happens in an environment. If you have your phone, you have your tablet, you first get a private IP. That means it's not routed over the internet.
Okay.
Then now when that, so the ISP that you connect to is network, it has a private leg and it has a public leg.
Okay.
The public leg will give you the internet. But then for you to connect locally, you need to connect via a private IP. When you enter the mobile network operator's core environment, that IP is NATed or is masked, and then you are given public IP to go to the internet to access any resource you are going to access on the internet. So here is the thing. If I have a tablet and I check my IP, if I do what's my IP, the two of us can have the same public IP.
Okay.
Because it is dynamically assigned. Like I explained, every one of us has a private IP. But then when we get to a point within the network of the ISP, all those public IPs, all those private IPs are put behind a public IP to be able to go to the internet.
Got it.
We have like 4.3 million IPs in the IPv4 space. Out of this, it's about 3.7 million that can be routed over the internet. Now, if you come to Ghana alone, we are so many. If we want to give
everybody,
yes, it won't be enough. So you can have several thousands of private IPs behind a range of public IPs, and that's how we manage it online. So when you connect to the internet with your tablet, it's going to be a little bit tricky. It's not impossible, but it's tricky because you don't go directly with the IP that the ISP gives to you on the back end. That lease agreement is just for a period. If you put off your data, you lose connectivity. Your IP, your private IP, may become available to another person.
That's true.
Yes, when you connect back, you get a different IP.
Yeah.
So your IP is changing. So when you reach the ISP's environment and then they nut you and then you go out, for somebody to attack you, it means that that session must still be there. So it comes via the public IP, and there must be a way that you can identify that, okay, you are coming with this private IP address. But usually what happens with those who have devices are not really done through the IPs per se, but apps that you have installed on your phones. Those services run on the IPs that you have. So those are the vulnerabilities that are exploited. I don't know what apps you have installed on your phone. And mostly we like free things.
I tell you.
So if you see something which is free and then you install, and mostly these days a lot of people don't want to read. So we give access to everything. Something can ask for your call log and you permit. Your camera you permit. Your phone, your speakers you permit. Everything you have permitted. So that system sits on your device and then communicates with a remote server somewhere that you have no idea of. You have no idea.
So that's where such vulnerabilities can be exploited.
Exactly.
So what I'm getting from this is that accessing internet through your telecom provider does not necessarily put you at risk, because they end up even masking your IP.
And most of these telecom companies actually have security in place to safeguard users. Of course, it's done to unacceptable. There are rules and regulations out there, so you just follow the best practice. Like for instance, the ISP will not let malware and those kind of things, certain things that are not allowed to infect their IP space. The same way they will not allow you to also infect somebody's thing. If they see those things, they it's like the IP you have belongs to somebody, and somebody is a custodian of it. So the person
will also make sure that
make sure that whatever you are doing is legit, and then you have to do the right thing.
Got it. Got it. If you're attacked, then it's probably as a result of an application.
You have a responsibility as an end user as well.
Yeah.
You don't just allow things to run, things that you don't understand. Don't let them run on your systems. Yes, the ISP is doing his bit.
Yeah.
But you need to also make sure that you are doing your stuff
and play your part. That's so important. Now I'm going to go to this main thing. The president a few weeks ago mentioned that people have to be careful online because IP addresses can be traced. So I want us to talk about this. That having an IP address means someone is tracking you. Is it?
Not necessarily,
okay,
but it doesn't mean it's impossible.
Okay, can we break it down then?
Yeah.
Let's talk about it.
So I mentioned that the IPs that you have are not yours.
That's true.
So if they are not yours, then you don't have total ownership of it. It's just something that has been leased to you. Now, just imagine that Joy FM wants to buy dedicated internet service. When you send out the request to an ISP, you provide them details about your location. Sometimes you give them an idea of what you are going to use the service for, and then they will in turn advise what capacity and the number of IPs and all of those things that you need. So in that case, if the ISP assigns you an IP address, Joy FM, we know where you are. You understand?
That's true.
So obviously, you can be traced. It's the same way to if a subscriber on a mobile device subscribes to internet data service, you can as well be tracked down. Yeah. It's not like somebody is doing it actively somewhere, but
I think that's what we have to just make clear.
Yeah. It's not like if it becomes necessary,
we can find you.
We can find you. There is no hiding under the space of IP. No. You can mask and hide and try and do a lot of things, but eventually.
Talking about you can mask and hide, people use VPN.
Yes.
Can we talk a bit about that?
Yeah. So you have a public network infrastructure, and there could be several reasons why people want to use VPNs. So you feel your data is very sensitive, or you don't want anybody snooping on whatever you are doing, or you are barred from accessing certain resources.
Like sometimes you are trying to access something and you are told this is not in your region.
Yes. So then you would think that, okay, let me get a VPN service. So that service provider makes a tunnel for you and then presents you to the outside world of the internet as if you were coming from a different place. So if Ghana is not allowed to use PayPal, and I want to use PayPal, and I get a VPN, and I choose a server in a country that allows that, obviously I can access that service. Or there is a movie that is not available in my region, and I want to watch it. If I use a VPN, I'll be able to latch to a server in a region that is permitted, and I'll be able to do that. So, yes, that service is also being provided by somebody. And that provider gives you some assurance that I'm not logging anything. They say that a lot. You're not logging anything. But if it becomes necessary, they are giving you infrastructure. So they know where they are picking you from, and they know where they are.
That thing.
So yes, unless you do your own thing. And how will you do your own thing? It's a network of networks.
Yeah.
Yes. So that is how it works.
There are records everywhere. Even though they would, I mean, like you're saying, it's per policies and all that. It's not something that it's more or less as and when it's necessary. If push comes to shove, by all means, we would have whatever we need.
Yeah, people should just be careful. And people should note that whatever you do on the internet is traceable.
That's the long and short of it.
Yes, that's just it. It's not politics. It's just how it works. That's just how it works.
Okay. We have a message. I want us to touch on this message. This from Hayford at Battle. He says, "Good evening, Adobea. Thanks for your program. Please, this IP you're talking about is nice, but I would like to know about the IPv4 and IPv6. Please, what's the difference between this? Secondly, which classes does our phone users put on?"
Okay, so IPv4 was the first generation, let me put it. When the internet started and we needed IP addresses, they came up with a structure. At that time, we thought we had more than enough IPs. As I mentioned, there are about 4.3 billion IP addresses in that space. But then, today, a lot of people have more than one phone. They have laptops.
Yeah.
They have TVs that connect to the internet. You mentioned the list goes on and on and on and on.
That's true.
And everybody wants to have an IP address. So the Internet Engineering Task Force, they found out that this IPv4 thing will finish at a point.
Yeah.
In fact, in some regions, it is actually exhausted. So you won't get if you want. So they came up with a new structure that gives much more IPs. In fact, we are told that what we have, the IP addresses in IPv6 space, is so many that we could literally give every grain of sand around the world an IP address and still have access. So that's so many, and that is where everybody is trying to move with the Internet of Things and all of those things coming into play. Everybody wants to get an IP that they can talk to directly without an intermediary. So the technologies that we mentioned, your ISP masking your IP addresses to conserve the IP space and all of those things, with IPv6, there will be no need for those ones. Now, the second question about which class of IPs you get, the phones get. So I mentioned earlier that your ISP, if it's in Africa, gets its IP block from Afrinic. And Afrinic, before they give you an IP address, would want to know what you are going to use that IP for.
Okay.
So if you are, let's say, a mobile service provider, you would need to give them a fair idea of the services that you are going to host that need IP address, public IP addresses. So based on that assessment, they give you an IP. It could be any of the blocks, depending on your need. So the ISP takes that chunk and then looks at his customer base and categorizes the IP or breaks down the IP blocks for ease of management and then assigns those to end users. So the ISP could be assigning private IPs in the class A block because it offers a lot more IPs. And then when it gets to his device in his core somewhere, he will NAT those IPs to maybe a class C IP address to go out, or depending on which subnet that he has received from the regulatory body.
Okay.
So what you get on your cell phone is usually a private IP address block, and it could be in any range. It depends on what the ISP has designed it to be. And like we said, the ones you get is not what you are going out with. It's what he uses to manage you internally here.
Yeah.
When you get to his network, he puts you on a more
public
befitting
one, yeah.
lane to go to the internet. So that is how it is. If you have your phone now and you go to your settings, you'll find it somewhere there.
Yeah.
So you could be getting an IPv4 or an IPv6 if your service provider supports it.
Okay. Hayford, I think your question has been answered. Thank you so much for sending that through. You can also join in the conversation by sending your message to the WhatsApp number 055 1111 997. 055 1111 997. Isaac, I want us to talk about how apps, websites, and social media platforms use our IPs. Can we talk a bit about it?
There is no free lunch anywhere. You know that.
Yes, by all means.
Yes. So someone designs his application and all of us are hooked onto it. You don't pay anything. You enjoy it, right?
Just buy data.
You just, no, you buy data because you want to enjoy the service.
Of course.
Yes, so that person also needs to make money. So most of these social media platforms, they make a lot of money from adverts. So they, like I mentioned, the IPs you have are public information anyway.
Yes.
So they know which IPs are coming from which regions. And based on that, they can give you a targeted advertisement or for marketing purposes. So they are interested in that just for business. Or they may also be interested in knowing where utilization, I mean, they want to, for balancing traffic, they would want to know where all this data suddenly is coming from. Could I put something which is closer to them, or to deploy CDNs, content delivery networks, that will bring the content closer to the end user. So they too have their own analytics, apart from the marketing bit, to give users great browsing experience. Today, our experience online is much different from what it used to be. Some years back, you would have to be patient. When you click a web page,
now we don't have that patience.
Yes.
I don't know
now
what you're talking about.
it's auto play.
Yeah.
And everybody is happy.
Yes.
Nobody questions how it happens.
No.
So we are all happy. We are just scrolling, and before you realize 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours.
Yes.
Now they get to know our usage patterns based on the IP addresses we have, and they can tell the kind of resources we also access online. So those contents are pushed closer to you. You are in Ghana, you would not be doing a lot of, let's say, Chinese videos. So there will be no point giving you Chinese videos here.
Got it.
Maybe you'll do Ghanaian or Nigerian or, something else. So those contents, based on where they see traffic coming from and all of those things, they are able to distribute a load on their servers for optimal performance of their servers.
That's interesting. This is Geek Squad with your girl Adobea Biritwum. We are having a conversation on what IP addresses are and what they mean for you. We will be talking about how law enforcement agencies use IP addresses in criminal investigations. But before we get to that, we'll take a quick break. We'll be back after that.
This October, the world of public relations converges in Accra. The Institute of Public Relations Ghana, in partnership with the African Public Relations Association, the Public Relations Society of Kenya, and the International Public Relations Association, present Public Relations Knowledge Sharing Conference. Also happening here in Ghana, 70th Anniversary Edition of the prestigious IPRA Golden World Awards Gala. Conference theme: Global Realities and Innovative Communication. 1st to 3rd October 2025 at the Accra International Conference Center. Time 8:30 a.m. each day. Featuring His Excellency John Dramani Mahama as special guest of honor and keynote speaker, alongside global voices from Wikimedia Foundation, OpenAI, and more. The IPRA Golden World Awards Gala is on 3rd October at 7:15 p.m. at the Movenpick Ambassador Hotel, Accra. Be part of this historic global gathering. Register today at www.iprghana.org or call +233 500 481 062.
FPAC is effective for headaches and relieves the symptoms of flu, colds, and catarrh. FPAC blows away the pain associated with sore throats. During and after a hard day's work, FPAC relieves you of body pains. After the day's sports workout, FPAC helps the body to control the aching muscles. FPAC is effective against feverishness. FPAC reduces body temperature associated with malaria and other fevers. FPAC is effective against rheumatic pains. You can find FPAC in all pharmacy and chemical select shops throughout the country. FPAC is not recommended for children less than 16 years of age, ulcer and asthmatic patients, pregnant and lactating mothers. If symptoms persist for more than 2 days, consult your doctor. FPAC blows your pain away.
FPAC Junior follows in the tradition of FPAC tablets, a trusted friend to relieve your child of pain associated with teething, catarrh, cold, and fever. The good that FPAC does for you, FPAC Junior does for your child. FPAC Junior is for children between 6 months and 12 years. FPAC Junior blows your child's pain away.
Ghana, the Springboard Roadshow 2025 is here, connecting through 16 regions, inspiring 500,000 youth in one amazing experience. Join Comfort Okran, Reverend Albert Okran, and other amazing speakers for practical insights, mentorship, training, and real opportunities to shape your future. Entry is free. Dial *718*50# to register now or call 0308-255-775. Follow us on all social media platforms at Springboard Channel for updates. Springboard Roadshow is brought to you by Mastercard Foundation, Springboard Roadshow Foundation and partners. Springboard Roadshow, 16 regions, 500,000 youth, one amazing experience. See you on the road.
2024 champion!
This is where curiosity meets competition, where equations, reactions, and theories collide under the spotlight. The National Science and Maths Quiz is back. Bigger, tougher, more brilliant. From physics to chemistry, biology to mathematics, only the boldest minds can survive the heat. Who will solve their way to glory? Catch every contest live on Joy News, Joy Prime, and Joy FM, and follow the action across our digital platforms. The date is from the 13th to the 30th of October 2025. The 2025 National Science and Maths Quiz is produced by Primetime Limited and sponsored by the Ghana Education Service. This broadcast on Joy News is supported by NASCO, Vitamilk, Ayuda Hub, Virtual Security Africa, Chopbox Technology, Ambition Consult, German Ozone Medical Center, Ace Medical Insurance, Achimota Mall, Slam Technologies, Family Health Medical School.
Welcome back. This is Geek Squad with your girl Adobea Biritwum. Geek Squad is brought to you by MTN. MTN, everywhere you go. Tonight we've been having a conversation on IP addresses and what they mean for you. I'm having a conversation with Isaac Sakyi. He is an engineer and an expert in IP networks. Just before we went on the break, I mentioned that we will be getting into how law enforcement agencies use IP addresses in criminal investigations. Isaac, can we talk a bit about that?
Sure.
So when it comes to IP addresses, and at any point in time, again, I'm going to link it back to what our president said. How are we, or how are they able to conduct investigations?
So when something happens on the internet, it's easy to see where it originates from. So there is a source IP address. If we take it from that side, once I see your source IP address, if let's say the case we are investigating is maybe some fraud, we know where the IP address is originating, then we can narrow down our search to where it is coming. When I say where it is originating from, let's say the country. So you see the IP, you know this IP is from Ghana. Now when you come to, you contact the body that allocates IP addresses to Ghana, to Africa, which Ghana is part of. And they will tell you, okay, this range of IPs, we assign them to company A or company B or company C.
Okay, and this company you're talking about is the internet service provider?
Yes, correct.
Okay.
So then you go to the law enforcement agency has evidence. Maybe a server with this IP address tried to attack another network with this particular IP. And I mentioned that people are always monitoring this space.
Yeah.
So whatever you attempted to do, they have evidence. So they talk to your ISP. Your ISP has a database and knows that for organizations that buy dedicated service, that means they have a list of IP addresses from the service provider. It is much more easier. So you go to them and you give him the IP. He checks his database and says, "Oh, this IP belongs to Joy FM." Okay, then they now write to it's a collaboration thing.
Yes.
So then Joy FM, they contact your IT personnel, and then your IT personnel will say, "Oh, okay, this IP, I assigned it to the PC or a server in maybe this particular studio." So they will come, and then there are timestamps and everything. So what happened? We saw this thing happening around 7 o'clock. Okay, Dubia was here around this time.
Yeah.
You were the only one sitting here. So the logs on the machine shows that you were the one who were actually operating it. And so then that is how the whole thing goes. So law enforcement people are able to conduct their investigations using IP addresses as evidence.
Got it. There are times that, talking about this right now, there are people who they would log into their sometimes office laptops and sometimes will log in with other people's passwords. And with the example that you just gave right now, it means that then people will have to be careful then.
Exactly. You anything that happens, if someone takes your phone and dials a number and does whatever, it is you, the phone belongs to you.
Yes, at the end of
Someone
the day.
takes your car and goes to, they say you are the owner of the car, you understand? So you need to have that sense of responsibility that you protect yourself so that no one can just spoof your details and then use them to commit attacks. I didn't know is no excuse.
Yes, ignorance.
Yes, unfortunately.
You can't use that as an excuse.
Yes.
So at least where we have that responsibility, the things that we have control over, we have to be extra.
Yes, as end users, we must learn what makes us safe online. There are a lot of resources that tells you how to be safe online, what to do and what not to do. I mean, the mere fact that people who publish false news and all those things, you see, the internet communicates with numbers, but someone can clone your website.
That's true.
Clone your website, use a different IP address, and then fool people to believe that it is something.
Yeah.
That one too is another way criminals can try to fool people based on the reputation somebody has built. And so if the law enforcement people get involved, they can do a DNS query, and then all the names that are associated with the hosted service will be shown. And based on that, they can also start their... So sometimes you see something and you think, oh, I saw this thing is coming from Joy FM. But you can do, when the law enforcement people get involved and then they do further checks, they realize that it is not from here, it is from somewhere else. So that is how they normally do their checks using IP addresses. That's one major way they do that.
They're able to do their checks. You mentioned something about masking when it comes to the public IP addresses that people can have behind the ISPs that you are connected to.
Yeah.
Is it possible that at the same time 2 different people can have the same IPs?
When you say IPs,
The public one, the one that they use to access the internet publicly. Because in my home, I'll have the private one, right? So the one, because you mentioned that looking at the numbers that are available, not
Yes.
everybody.
yes, correct.
So at the same time, is it possible that...
Yes, all of us in this room can go out with one public IP and it's fine.
Okay. So in that case, if we are doing some kind of investigations...
I told you everything is logged.
Yeah, so now we'll check through...
Yes, whatever session you establish from your phone to the internet, there is, let's say, going forward and coming backwards. So it can be traced.
So
It's
that's
not a problem.
okay. So the fact that we have the same public...
So that is those are some of the things that IPv6 will eliminate. So with IPv6, you don't need to mask behind some other, because the IP you have is usable on the internet, and that is just it. So it makes even it very much easy to track down people.
That would just be unique to the person.
Yeah, it's just unique to you.
Making it a lot easier.
Yeah.
There are times that you are accessing the website and then you get the information. I've had this a number of times, and sometimes I just wonder why. But you get the information that too many attempts from this particular IP address, and so it's blocked. What causes this?
Yeah. So, if you run a service online, you must be careful not to leave your resource open without end. I mean, people should use it reasonably. If I'm going to search for something, it is assumed that it will take me some time to put in my query and to hit enter. But if within 1 second that query runs 100 times, 1,000 times, then obviously there is something wrong. It is no longer a human being behind it, and it is something. It is a robot or something. A bot is now working. So there are systems that are also in place that try to target certain resources, and they push 1,001 commands at the same time. Maybe you are not the one doing it, but there is something on your how do you call it, on your device that is doing that. I mean, people install things which are free, they are open. So somebody takes command of your system, you don't know. It is sending a denial of service attack somewhere. So you doing your legitimate thing, the system there is monitoring whoever is coming to it. So it sees that no, this particular IP is sending me unusual traffic. So they'll rate limit it.
So in that case, what do I have to do if I see that then?
You have to check your system. You need to ensure that your system is running an up-to-date software.
Okay.
Make sure that the applications running on your device are legitimate.
Okay.
Then in that way you can reduce that surface attack, because it could mean that your system has been compromised, you don't know. And that is how come it is doing that thing. Or sometimes maybe it's just poor network. You've tried once, it is loading, but you don't see any action. So you do, and
now everything must be just fast.
so that's one of the things. So that could be one of the reasons, but usually it is because something is not right.
So in that case, you've mentioned checking that you have the
right up to date. Your software running on your systems are all up to date, and you don't have any rogue malicious thing running in the background.
Okay. Okay. Looking into the future, will we say that IP addresses will still exist in the same way as it is now? I know you've spoken about IPv4 and then the 6. Or will technology replace them with something else altogether?
I think IP addresses, connectivity will still be there. So you need, like I mentioned, numbers are what glues the whole systems together. They will be there.
Yeah.
But maybe they will be there in some other way.
Okay.
Like we have IPv4. IPv6 now we are told we shouldn't worry yet. Because
shouldn't worry yet. I like that.
When will we finish numbering the sand at the beach?
Yeah.
I mean, we are not halfway there yet.
Yeah.
So it looks like everything is under control now. But of course, tomorrow a technology may come that has advantages that outweigh what we use the numbers for, and they want to do new technology. It's still open. Everything is possible. But I think that IP addresses is not going to vanish anytime soon.
Got it. Your final words.
End users should take some responsibility, knowing that whatever they are using is something that has been leased to them for a period. They should be careful what they do online. It is not that somebody is actively monitoring them to catch them for something, but anything they do, somebody will be held responsible. And when push come to shove, it will be easy to locate.
We can find you.
Yes,
you can run, but you can't hide. Thank you so much, Isaac Sakyi.
Thank you very
much for sharing this with us. It's just so important, and for us as listeners, a word to the wise is enough. Whatever we are doing online can be traced. It is not because it's being monitored already, but if you're putting content out there and it gets to the time where we need to find you, that can be done. So let us all just be more responsible and careful when we are putting anything out there online. A very big thank you to my producer, Prince Safo, the entire team, Mirabelle, and also Crispy. And a very big thank you to you, our listeners, for joining the conversation this evening. My name is Adobea Biritwum. This has been Geek Squad. God willing, next week we will be back. Stay tuned.